Welcome to the Release Your Blocks podcast. I am your host, Victoria Bond. I am a spiritual empowerment coach. I help teach others to show up to their potency so they can fulfill their mission here on earth. I am so glad you are here. And if you are interested in becoming a medium, if you're interested in becoming a life coach, or if you're interested in shifting your life from the 3D to live more in the 5D reality, then check me out, book a clarity call, and let's get chatting.
To know spirit is to know yourself. To know spirit is to know boundaries. To know spirit is to know who you are on a soul level. To know spirit is to have harmony between your body, between your spirit, and between your soul. And today's podcast, we're going to be talking about spirit connection and how this can quantum leap you so you can collapse those timelines, so you can live your life's purpose, your soul's purpose, faster, without having to do it life after life after life after life. So this is the downloads I've received from Spirit. So this is unique. This is original. This is my knowing from the channels that I receive. But before we go there today, I have an announcement. I am opening Magnificent Mediumship Live, the up-leveled version, very, very soon. February the 1st, 2022 is when this is the first launch this year for Magnificent Mediumship. This is my passion, and I have been told that this is the thing. This is my signature program going forward. This is the thing that I'm birthing to the world. This is the thing that we can have the ripple effect on when it comes to spiritual alignment, and the way I'm doing it is through this program. So if you are ready to dive more into who you be, if you are ready to collapse timelines, if you are ready to quantum leap, if you are ready to align to your human design, unveil your superpowers, grow into who you be, then this program is for you. It is more than just becoming a psychic medium reader. It is so much more, because like I said, to know spirit is to know yourself. To know spirit is to know your boundaries. To know spirit is to have the harmony, mind, body, and soul. So if you are interested, I've got a couple of spots left, and you can also do the self-study. Go check out victoriabond.co.nz. You can reach out to me on Facebook, and yeah, let's get into it. So I'm just going to tap into the channel now, and just going to invite for my guides and my guardians, my ancestors, my angels, and the light beings to come through to guide me in this podcast episode. So what they want me to talk about is abundance. Okay, so the information is coming through. Abundance. How do we tap into the wealth code, the abundance codes, the magic codes, and still be human? Okay, so this is a question that I get a lot when we've got people around us that are very human, that are very 3D, that are not necessarily choosing this kind of higher level of consciousness in this reality, where there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's just a choice, and everyone's got their own path. How do we quantum leap and collapse timelines with the humans around us? Easy. You just go do your thing. You always follow what feels good for you. Now, we have been controlled, basically programmed and conditioned to think that if we put our sights on ourselves, if we acknowledge ourselves, if we get to know ourselves, if we believe in ourselves and trust ourselves and show up for ourselves before others, there's something wrong with us. We're selfish. We're narcissistic. We're just not humble or aligned. Can you just destroy and uncreate all of those points of view now, please? That is the biggest lie I have acknowledged in this reality. That by taking the eye off yourself and focusing on other people, that there is how to live. And that is not true. What we must do is dive into ourself. It doesn't mean you're being self-centered. It means that you are filling yourself up, lighting yourself up, aligning to who you are, really taking accountability for the body that you are in, for your mission that you are here for as a spirit and as a soul. And then you create something magical. And it is called a ripple effect. This ripple effect that you have when you are in this space speaks to other people's auras. Have you ever noticed somebody walking down the street and you look at them and go, what is it about that person? Yeah, they may be good looking as a human. Or maybe you think, well, they're not exactly like typically what we would call model good looking, but what is it? They have this certain kind of air about them. They have this certain type of glow, aura. They're magnetic. That is a person who is in their power. That is a person who is speaking with their aura, and that person on that day, they connected to you and they invited you to choose you, to power up, to be that ripple, like that ripple effect of joy and love and abundance and wealth and magnetism in this reality. That person is not selfish. That person is not self-centered. They're aligned. And they are beautiful. And of course, then we can see somebody who is literally, magazine model, and you're like, oh my goodness, that person's so pretty. And then you tap into their energy and you go, wow, their energy doesn't match how they look. They're not magnetic. In fact, I can't feel them. Where are they? Some people, when they're not aligned, shrink. They shrink into their body. They try to fit into their body, and it hurts because you are so much larger than your body. When you shrink into your body, you feel overwhelmed and you feel contracted. You feel small. You start shrinking. You start shrinking your brain. You start shrinking your consciousness. You start shrinking your knowledge, and you start looking externally from other people to give you what you need, but they can't. Because even if they did, you can't hear them. And many of us have experienced this, including myself. When I was really depressed and having my breakdown before my breakthrough, before my awakening, and I didn't know why I felt so low. I had the husband who was lovely. I had the house that I wanted. I had the children. I was completely broke, but I had a business that I loved. And I felt so selfish and so small and so one-minded. I felt helpless. I felt like I was stuck in my body, and I was. And it was like being in prison. It was like being stuck in a room, but the room was like empty. Sometimes it was empty, maybe sometimes it was so full that I was just like overwhelmed. I couldn't sleep. I had mind chatter. Spirit was trying to knock on my human and go, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Can't you see that we're around you? Why have you trapped yourself in there? Come on, you're not your body. And I lay there going, I'm insane. I'm fucking insane. And if I could have 2 beautiful children, a beautiful husband, clients, because I was a hairdresser, clients and a business, and of course, we might be broke, but we get by. I can still afford a coffee. I worked for my coffee and my wine. Then why are you complaining? People looked at me like I was selfish. Why aren't you happy? Be happy with what you've got. Other people have got it so much worse, Victoria. And I just felt like, what is the point? What is the point? And I started asking questions. What is the point? And I started playing with the concept of maybe I'm not my body. And maybe what these questions I'm hearing and these energies I'm feeling and these attacks that I'm getting in the night, maybe they're all trying to tell me something. Or maybe these shadows that I'm experiencing, maybe they're gifts. And maybe this frustration and this bitterness and this anger and this emotional upset and this depression, and you could see it in my eyes, I just looked like not me. Maybe these are all gifts. So what is the gift of this? So I started talking to Spirit, and I went back to faith. I went back to faith like I had like a little girl, but I took away the religious aspect of that. I took away the fear aspect of that, but I put into practice what I knew. I started praying, help me. Let me see myself, because I don't know who I am. And I started talking to the Spirit around me. Why are you here visiting me? Why? Why do I have this mind chatter? Why are you talking to me at midnight, and why can't I sleep? And then I would start getting information. Put in boundaries, Victoria. To know Spirit and to know yourself is to know your boundaries. So I started little bit by little bit by little bit working on myself. I started meditating every single day, and mostly I did that because I just wanted to get out of my own self. And it felt so good. And every time I came out of that meditation, I went, why? Why can I go back? And then I started tapping into consciousness tools, and I started tapping into Reiki energy, and I started following the crumbs that I was getting shown with the synchronicities and the signs that I was seeing every single day, which became so overwhelming. I was like, okay, I get it. To know Spirit is to know myself, and who the hell am I? Little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit. I started realizing that Spirit didn't control me. People around me didn't control me. Nobody could actually make me feel better or make me feel worse. This was totally up to me, and I had to come in and I had to do what others deemed selfish to find myself, so then I could be a mum that was worthy of these children. So I could be a wife that fell in love with her husband again. So I could be the friend and the sister that I wanted to be, rather than feeling bitter and upset and like a failure because I couldn't be there for anyone, because I couldn't be there for myself. And every time I tried to give to somebody, I was done and exhausted and would cry and get really bitter because I gave them the energy that I had just been gaining. So if you've ever felt this way, or maybe one or two things resonate with you, I just want to let you know I completely understand how you feel. So what did I do? Apart from the step by step by step, because I realized very quickly that that could take a few lives. And I'm here for the real deal, and I'm here now. And I said, I don't want to come back and do this 10 million times. I feel like, I'm not even 40. I think I was like 33 or something. And I was like, I feel like I've been through so many lives and I haven't even done anything. Like, what the heck? Been a hairdresser for 20 years. I've loved it. I met my husband at 16. I've moved a handful of times and experienced things, but I've barely done anything. So why do I feel like I've had 28 lives? And so I'm not doing this again, guys. So I will surrender. I will embrace the faith that I was taught. And I will trust that I will be good enough and strong enough and powerful enough for the job that you give me. And all I ask is for alignment. It must be aligned, because I am no martyr. I am no saint. I am fucking powerful within myself, and I want to show my children and my husband and my friends and my sisters and my clients and even my parents that I will do it my way, and they can come if they want, and I will love them no matter what. And it's okay if people leave me. It's okay. I worked through the rejection and I started showing up more. I started letting people know that they're not alone and I'm going through this process and I've got spirit around me and these synchronicities and the miracles and the magic, and they're happening. And as I started coming out of that cocoon and I started spreading my wings, I started getting stronger messages and I started trusting myself more and having faith that they would come. And it was all with alignment. And of course, it's not always smooth sailing, because every time an up level comes, this chaos comes in, and it feels like, you're swimming amongst the waves, and there's wave after wave after wave after wave. And I just learned how to dive into those waves and come up with joy, and dive again and come up with joy, and dive again. And I looked at where I was upper limiting myself. And what I did as I realized if I made money, then my relationship might be suffering. I might be like bickering with my husband or telling people, leave me alone, I'm tired. As a projector in the HD, my wounding is overworking, trying to prove that I can keep up with all the other energy types. So I realized where I was upper limiting, and I started working with coaches that got the quantum thing, coaches that were making more money than me, which wasn't hard because I wasn't making any money. I started investing in myself, time and money. And when I told people that first 2 years I spent $100K investing in myself, they were like, what the heck? And the truth is, I had never even made $100K. Even with my husband and my wages alone, we hadn't made that. But I knew that I would 10x the money. I was creating wealth. And wealth is not about how much money is in your bank account. That's just making money. It's how that money is coming to you. It is how your life looks on a whole. It's what your relationships look like with your children and with your lover, with your friends and with your clients. Wealth is about having it all, but knowing that you don't stop there. It's not the goal that you got to, it's a target that you got to, and always knowing that it's expanding and it's getting easier and better, and it's getting more magnetized. You are becoming more magnetized. You're becoming a magnet. You're expanding your capacities, and that person that was walking across the street that you were like, what is their thing? You get it because you are that person. Always curious for the connection, always curious for that next evolution of who you be, that next facet, that next shadow. This is how you deeply connect in with spirit. This is what I teach in Magnificent Mediumship. I teach you to see yourself, to know yourself, to embrace yourself, to empower yourself, to love yourself. And of course, that is what you attract. Whether you attract that with humans around you or whether you attract that with spirit around you, that is what you attract. And all of those people around you that are sitting there in the 3D, they wake up or they stay still. It doesn't matter. But I can tell you one thing. My husband, he rose with me. He's obsessed with me, like not in a crazy way. And I don't think he listens to my podcast, so I can say this. He is proud of me. He sees me. And for a projector, I can tell you what, in 22 years, my husband has never seen me as he sees me now. And he said to me the other day, I cannot believe I'm this in love with you. After 22 years, I feel like it's the day I met you. And our relationship was not that great. Being with a depressed person, and he's been depressed too, is not that great. So we were quite repressed. We didn't fight a lot. If we did, it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, it was hideous. I don't like fighting. I wasn't brought up with fighting parents. I was brought up with more repressed parents. So therefore, that's what I did. I repressed down. I was like, I'll try harder. And I just kept going down into a hole. But now I just be me. I be selfish. I align to me. When I show up, I'm with my kids. I'm with my husband. I'm with my clients. I'm right here with you right now, 100%, because I know my ripple effect has a massive impact on the world. And I'm that person who walks down the street, and when I'm in fire and when I'm aligned and when I'm available and when I'm strong on my boundaries, people change when they come across me or when they look at me or when they come into my aura. They are activated. And I'm getting activated by them at the same time. So you see, your soul's purpose and your ripple effect is not about the doing. It's about the being. And it's about dropping all of those expectations of what you were told you had to be and those attachments of how you want it to look. That is how you find you. You drop it all. You drop it all and you surrender and you have faith. You ignite your fire and you go for it. And if you don't know what that is, you have to follow those little crumbs. You have to make a decision, a commitment to yourself to make it work, just like a marriage, just like getting to know somebody, just like raising a child. Raising a child is not about how your parents raised you. That's a completely other conversation. But I like to practice conscious parenting. And that means I let my children lead me. Yeah, sometimes I step in as a parent, and I use my boundaries and I bring in some guidance for my little children. But I treat them completely differently because I ask them, what do you require from me? Because they're little beings and they tell me. And that is how I parent. And that is how my relationship is. And that is how my friendships are. And that is how my clients are. That's my one-to-ones. I'm not going to go and go do this and do this and do this and do this because that's coming from me. I go, what do you require and how can I be assistance to you? It's called conscious parenting, conscious coaching, conscious marriage, relationships. And my relationships with spirit is that. As a medium, I see a lot of mediums that go into business full time because they've got this gift of talking to spirit. And their gifts are super strong. They're seeing them and they're just I've been to some incredible mediums, holy moly. But they have a client after a client after a client after a client. They do that 5 days a week. They're making some money, right? They burn out. They give it up. Or they end up in hospital with burnout. Or they, like I say, the worst thing they can do is just completely give it up and go, that was too intense. They didn't know their boundaries with spirit. They didn't learn to know who they are, because to know spirit is to know yourself. So that's where I want to leave this today. And I hope that you didn't just use your cognitive brain for this. This is very much about awakening you, and all my podcasts and all of my programs and my coaching containers are about the quantum leaping, the collapsing timelines, and your brain just does not know how to do that. This is more of the spirit and the soul and working with that subconscious as well, because if you're trying to be in your body right now and you don't believe in magic, you're actually stuck in the logistics of life, then how are you going to receive the miracles? I have literally had clients, just to give you a little bit of evidence with that have worked with me and received cars. They've got engaged after 25 years. They've received their inheritance early. They have got checks in the mails. I've had 2 or 3 people go, oh my gosh, I've had a check, a refund in the mail. Checks are even a thing. And when I first heard of coaches saying that, I was like, whatever. But it's legit. It actually happens. I even had a client who worked with me and she received $100,000 bonus after she quit her job, and that is because she was ready and willing to receive that. She had done the work. She had done the quantum leaping. She had done the collapsing of timelines, and now she is traveling with her family, creating a life of her dreams. And she's going to kill it. She is just going to kill it in the best way possible by bringing her genius to the world. And she is a 2-5. So she's this hermit kind of heretic energy. She's a manifest generator. She's got it going on. And just with some tweaking and some awareness and some acknowledgement, and by diving into herself and seeing how beautiful and worthy she is, she was able to make more than she'd make in a year type of thing within like a day, because it was given to her, right? Like, we are worthy because we are worthy. And the trick is to expand and to not use the head, to use the head for the tool that it is, to use the body for what it is, and to really step into the magic and know that it's all possible for you too. So with that being said, if you are ready to experience this energy, if this is calling you, if your heart is singing, if your fire is burning, if you feel turned on by listening to these things that make you feel lit up, all you have to do is reach out. I have got many different containers. I've got a membership, I've got a mastermind, I've got one-to-ones, and I've got Magnificent Mediumship, my signature program, which was channeled at 4:44 a.m. around about a year ago, and I've been going through it ever since, and now we have up-leveled it. It is time to rise in 2022. Sending you so much love, and if you have loved this, please share this episode. Share it with your friends or anyone that you feel like it could help. Give me a review on Spotify. Do whatever you need to do so you can be the ripple effect too. So much love. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining the Release Your Blocks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. So please leave a review and tell me what your favorite takeaway from today was. There is so much more from where this came from. You can also find me at Holistic Energy Shifting on Facebook, where you can find more content, more coaching, and more guidance. Have a grand and glorious day, and I'll see you next time.